Hey guys, it is Duke, and welcome back to the episode of Duke Builds Creatively. How are you guys doing? I'm doing fantastic, honestly. I built this house off camera, which you're looking at, and I really like it. I think it fits this area tremendously, and overall, once we start getting other houses and stuff in the village, along with some town lighting, some other little details and decorations, this house is really gonna fit in. And there are mobs somewhere. I think they're just down in caves, and I need to kill them. So that'll be something I need to do off camera, because in next episode we are going to be doing the interior of this build. I don't want you guys to think I'm not going to do anything. So as you can see just how open of an area this is, but we're definitely going to transform this into something that's real special. I have some ideas, and I feel like I can replicate them pretty well. Let's turn our mob sounds down a little bit, because those are very, very loud. Hostile creatures, put those way down. Perfect. You can barely hear them. I don't know if you guys can actually hear them. I don't know. But guys, what do you think about this house? What I started with was just some spruce sort of structure, and I went through and I made a little bit of a triangle. And by a triangle, I don't mean I actually built a triangle, but I took this sort of corner and I pushed in that way, and I pushed in that way, and then I sort of worked around what I wanted to do right there, and it ended up being a very sort of basic little, not much of an L, but it is slightly an L-shaped house, and I really like it. There's a few little things like, I think we might want to add those. I like the fence under the logs here, the support beams. I feel like that was a good addition. What do you guys think? Personally, I don't know. I do like it, but I feel like other people might say something different. I don't know. It's up to you guys to comment down below, telling me what you do like about this house and what you would like to see changed. But after I went ahead and did the spruce, I went ahead and put in our two different types of wood. So mainly it's spruce. Spruce is sort of what the house was intended to look like. And then with the setting and with the sort of style of build, the dark oak looks a little rough. It looks a little bit beat down. It looks wet. And it's really fitting for this type of build. So as you can see, there is no sort of pattern, no sort of design, no symmetry with this house. I did my best to sort of make this house look random, and that includes the windows too. Say we have a window here, it looks kind of weird, doesn't it? Maybe. That one looks like it should be there. Maybe you think this one should be here. Nope, I do not think so. I think what we want to do is keep it there, because of the fact that we need a little bit of difference in this house. Occasionally we have areas that just have the stairs. As you can see behind the leaves, we have stairs there that are not the full blocks. A nice tip for doing houses like this, if you want things to look even more random, include some depth. And even if you have a flat wall like this, as you can see, there's depth here because of these blocks and the stairs. If it was just panes, it would look weird, and if it was all the same color wood, it would look weird. The variation and the very subtle depth really, really makes this house shine. But I was working, and I liked how it was looking so far. It was a lot of wood, a lot of spruce, a lot of dark oak. And I got to the roof, and I didn't want it to be like that. So we came in with some stone brick, and in the end, I feel this is a very fitting color. It makes the house sort of stand out. It makes it look more structurally sound. And I'm really, really happy how this roof design turned out. It's a little bit different on either side, which is a good thing, because that's how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look random. I went in and added this sort of fireplace thing. So this is the top of the fireplace. Oh, Jesus, raining again. Which means, and let's just set it to day. Actually, I think it's always day on this world. I think I said it. Yeah. That's not moving. So as you can see, once you come in here, we have this little cobblestone, and the cobblestone is going to stay. It's going to be there, but I think what we're going to do is sort of work around that in here. We'll get a little bit of a fireplace, and it'll sort of be a little bit of a very important structural sort of being in the house. It's sort of gonna be the main point of the house. Because you gotta think, these people aren't living in the best of areas. It's sort of a slum because it's a very small house over water. It's not gonna have the greatest interior. It'll be nice. I'll make sure I really put an effort in the interior. But you know, they got wet materials. It's sort of, imagine like moldy. We got vines growing on the side of their houses, etc., etc. And this was another thing I sort of liked. I like this. We're going to have a little bit of an area under here, so you can be able to get through down here. Maybe people who are living here don't want to, maybe it's really cold and they don't want to go outside, so they just tap their fishing pole into the water below, and they can get whatever they need to eat. And I don't know, it'd be kind of weird if they did that. But I sort of took this from the one town in The Hobbit. If you guys have ever seen the Hobbit movies, there's that one town. I'm drawing a blank on the name right now, but very similar style to this. It's sort of built out over a lake, and there's at least a few of these on a few houses, and there's like boats and stuff. We might build some little gondolas and such. I'll look into that. And then the stone bricks here, I feel like they were needed, and they're different. I was considering doing that, and I'm like, that looks weird. So I added these, and I feel like it looks more like a support beam, sort of sticking out, something that's sort of holding everything up. And that's a really nice feature it has, and I'm glad I put that in. But you guys have probably really wanted to see a little bit more, because if you clicked on this video and you saw something about how to build a house, you want some real evidence on how to build this house, and maybe that was enough for you. So into the rest of today's episode, we're going to be building another house right on next to it. It's a tinier spot, so we're going to have a tinier house. But the first thing we're going to do, we're going to just start straight away, is you want to sort of get the layout. You want to know how your house is going to fit in the area. So I think we want a post here. We want a post about there as well, and these should be different heights, because maybe it's going to be 2 stories like this, maybe it won't be, but you're going to want some unevenness because it looks a little bit better than if everything was just flat, and it sort of gets a picture in your mind. How do I want this thing to work? Because you might end up thinking of something that you weren't going to think of at the beginning. And we want everything to be this high off the ground because, you know, we're picturing it being over a lake and stuff. So we're going to include the same sort of structure here where it's above. We're going to take this, run that along. This is a sort of support beam holding up the whole house. Definitely something we want to look into. And as you see, I was considering going along there, and then it hit me. No, that's not what we should be doing. We should be doing something different. So we're going to be. That's just another thing. Like I said, sometimes you'll start building, and then you'll realize something else works a little bit better, and you'll change your mind, and you'll work around that. Something I've done in Minecraft only really recently. For the longest time, I liked everything to be very symmetrical. I liked everything to sort of look perfect, and that's just not something that's good for this type of build and this type of place. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to run one straight through here, even though that's not right there. But that'll give us area to sort of work around what we're going to do here. Actually, I'm sort of not liking that. What if we were to move this one back? See, like I said again, maybe you sort of come up with something on camera, like I just did. You come up with something on the fly, on the build, and you realize it would look better in a little bit different of an area. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to move it back there, and I think that would be a better overall spot for this. I think we want that one to be sideways, even though you really can't see it from any side, but this side, I feel like that's for the best. We're going to take that away because we don't really need it, and I think we're going to remove this one because it's sort of unneeded. Okay, so that works a little bit better for the style. It gives us a little bit more room to work with. I think what we're going to do is find another area for support B, maybe about there, just because we still need some more support in this house. So then we're going to bring one along right there. It'll sort of be the middle part between these two houses here. And then we're going to bring up one right there. We're going to bring up one right here as well. The phone is going off. Don't know if you guys can hear. It's probably too quiet. But if you could, that is what that noise was. So you see these houses are touching. And normally I'd tell you stay away from this. If you're building modern, if you're building just about any other style than medieval, keep your builds separate. Make sure you can look at them and be really interested in each build for its own thing. But in medieval, having that is okay. And when I say it's okay, it is okay because it's almost fitting. It's sort of needed in this style of area. You want your houses to sort of butt up right against each other for multiple different reasons. And first of all, that'll make it seem a little bit more realistic because the houses are going to be packed in here as everybody's trying to get their own spot in the village, so that'll be cool. Also, it sort of gives off a different atmosphere, a sort of like city feel that you normally would not have in just a normal, like a different style. Not a normal, just a different style of Minecraft builds. So I think we're going to bring that along there as well. I think we're realizing that's going to be sort of the more important pillar, so we'll do that. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this little design. So we need to start sort of figuring out what's going to be the main part of this house, what we can work with. So I think what we're going to do is realize up here, we want it to be like that. We don't want these to be right next to each other because we can sort of assume this is strong enough to support it. And I think we're going to assume this, if it's bolted down sort of into that should be able to hold this part up, and that'll sort of give a nice little area for us to do the same over here. Sort of square this build off, make it look like it has more of a fitting upstairs than it did. Maybe even we'll take that one out, do that, something like that. Just give it a little bit more detail than it had. Run that along and go up. Maybe not on this side. Maybe not on this side. We'll sort of work around into just having this be the upstairs. Again, we're sort of coming up with it on the fly, and I'll continue probably do with that the rest of this episode. But now the next step is to go ahead and fill in the spruce and dark oak. So I'm going to do that. The walls are going to be up. A lot more of the build's going to be up. And then we'll get back to when it's the roof and other such things. Okay, guys. So I have the majority of the frame of the house done. All the roofs are on and the walls are done. I just need to fill in the windows. I need to add the buttons. I need to add the decoration on the outside, which would mean a little bit of change up of the fence because these fences are just structure, but I might add in a few others like it did in other places over here. We need a chimney, stuff like that. Just stuff to add a little bit more detail into the build, stuff that adds more interest, because why it's a nice build right now, you're still missing out on the main sort of goal, and that's to create a very nice sort of destroyed, rundown atmosphere in this village. And this house is just frankly too clean. It is, even with the messed up windows, the off-centered windows, stuff like that. It's not quite finished yet. Plus, the interior is not done, but that's not really something I need to focus on at the moment. So we will weather clear again. So something you're probably wondering is, where did I sort of get the idea for the roofs? Why these roofs? Why this position? Well, when I was choosing how to put on the roofs, I wanted a roof similar to this one and then a roof similar to that one. Since we're going for a similar style build, part that had one floor and part that had two floor, I wanted to go with the same sort of roofs, but I wanted them to be a little bit different. As you can see, this roof down there is quite different from this roof over here. It has two support beams where this one has one, and it's sort of a central one, sort of holding everything together, plus you got that, which that other one does not. Then I had a smaller version of this roof, and while maybe it might have been more fitting to have it the other way, I put it this way because it stands out, it looks unique, and it's a variant. If it was in the same direction as the other one, it would look kind of odd. You'd be like, why are they both pointing the same way? And they shouldn't be. So that's why I chose that. If you guys are wondering why there's a lot of these, and by these I mean two spot areas. That is something that even the best of Minecraft players will tell you is wrong and something to stay away from. I say in this sort of build, let it happen, because you got to think the engineers weren't really too big of something when this house was built. It was really built for structure. It was built for someone to live in. Shelter is the most important thing at this time because people wanted to survive. And having the sort of off ones, having rooms that are two, it sort of goes along with the whole concept of everything being a little weird, a little run down, a little off-centered, and asymmetrical. Something just, yeah. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys understand why I did that. If you're going to build an area similar to mine in this world, I'd say if you want to, go for it. There's nothing stopping you. Nobody's going to tell you, I mean, that's wrong. Somebody will tell you. There are probably going to be multiple people who tell me that this is wrong. But Minecraft is an imagination. It relies heavily on your imagination. You can do whatever you'd like. Make up whatever you want. It's Minecraft. The endless possibilities. If you want to have a two wide wall, go for it. If you want to have a 4 wide wall, go for it. No matter how even your wall is, if you want it, you can do it. Go for it. I'm sure you can figure out a way to make it sort of work in the end. Because while that's off-centered, I think it's going to look good. Just give it some time. If you don't like it right away, again, give it a little bit of time. Give it some interest. And by interest, I mean think about it. Really care about how that looks. Care if you think that looks bad. Care if you think that looks good. Just really sort of dive into how you feel about your own builds, because that's something that I feel people sort of miss when they're building houses, is they just want it to look good to other people. Or, if you build a dirt shack, you just want a build. And something that you're happy with is what matters most. If you're not... Okay, I cannot find doors. Door. We need that one. Okay. I could not find it. If you like something, go for it. Because there should not be anyone who has the power over you to make sure that you don't go through with it. What you're going to do, if it's a good thing, okay? I guess that applies for a lot of things in life. Like I said, if it's something good. If it's not something good, don't take my advice there. It's horrible advice. But it can be good advice in different situations like this, So that's enough of Duke Feel Good Day. It's enough of that sort of me trying to influence you guys in positive ways, because while I'd like to be able to sit here and talk like that, I don't know if you're really here for that. You probably aren't. You're here for building. After all, that's what the series is about, and I hope to sort of incorporate enough building into these episodes that you guys are interested in them. And this is a very long episode, actually. Longest so far, and I hope to continue making them this long. And if you're wondering why the vines are so sprawled up against their house, there's no sort of thing that sort of stands out. That's because, as you can see, look, now it makes sense. Now that there's a wall that close, it sort of fits. It makes sense. It doesn't stand out like it used to. So there must be a button there. Yes, there is. We don't want that one. I think, yeah, we're gonna let's put something down there. Just something that sort of gives it a little bit of color, a little bit of something. Some of these aren't really needed. They're just sort of there, again, for decoration. Something that you can totally just really set your mind on creating something unique. Decoration is really something that can take a build. If we're ranking it on a 10-point scale from an 8 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10, and honestly, if you don't feel like you have a 10 out of 10 build in you, I am saying do not give up. Do not let that get you down, because I used to be an absolutely horrible builder. I was really, really quite bad at this game at one point, and I hope I've changed. If you guys don't think I've gotten any better, I don't know. It'll be kind of disappointing. Because I think I have... Oh, we want that one. We don't want that one. Okay, that works. Again, look at this house. It's different. But it works. I like it. Again, it's sort of... It's one of those things, guys. maybe you don't like it. Maybe you don't. And I understand that there might be people who do not like it. Let me know why you don't. What could I change about this? What could you change about this that would make it better than what I've done? I'm open to suggestions, and as always, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below telling me why you did enjoy it. If you're new to the channel or the subscribe, I always screw up that word. If you're new to the noodle. If you're noodle, guys, if you're noodle to the channel, if you're new to the channel or the series, be sure to subscribe. But this has been Duke, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.